you ever sat there in a funk, jealous, wondering why those other coaches are taking off like a rocket, like an overnight success? Everything seems to be going right for them and they're growing, hitting revenue numbers month after month. Meanwhile, you're sitting here eyeballs deep in 14 unfinished projects, spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make more progress in the next 6 weeks than you did in the last 6 months. Not by doing more or working harder or working 18-hour days. No siree. We're going to do it like a boss by figuring out what's the actual right next thing for you to work on right now. Because right now, I guarantee there is one thing that if you do it, it'll move you forward. And we're using a really clever 6-week game plan kit that we use in Blacktop. I'm gonna walk you through it. By the way, if you want to download the stuff, including the right next thing finder, it's in the description below. If we haven't met yet, I'm Taki Moore, father of 6, lover of tacos, scaler of coaches. We help business coaches get to $1 million a year. And the secret is we do it 6 weeks at a time. I want to walk you through the exact same 6-week game plan that we use with our clients. I got the idea from these guys at Basecamp, Jason Fried, David Hannemeyer Hansen. We do 6 weeks at a time because when you're doing it right, this business moves really fast. And if you stick to a longer term plan, you're locked into what you thought. But a 6-week plan is what you think right now. At any given moment, there's one right next move for you. Together, we're going to figure it out. I'm going to show you how to make your next 6 weeks really count. Fair warning, what you're about to learn flies in the face of almost every business planning advice you ever hear. And that's why it works so great for people like us, because we want to stay nimble. Okay? I want to give you 5 keys right now for doing this well. Here's the first big idea. Forget quarters, think shorters. We're all taught that we should have annual goals and then quarterly plans. Let's talk about both of those things. I don't know if you've seen the stats about what happens when the average human being sets a New Year's resolution. They stick to it up until January the 3rd, maybe the 4th. So it's New Year's Eve and you set your annual goal, your 12-month goal, your New Year's resolutions, and you start, well, it's a new year. I'm going to get in shape this year. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to exercise every day. The skinny guy is in control for about 3 days. And then guess what? The fat guy takes over and we drop. Most people, if they have an annual goal, they start strong. There's this massive slump in the middle. And then maybe sometimes there's a, holy shit, summer's coming or Christmas is coming. I better get my act together so I hit my goal. And there's a spurt at the end. The start's good. The end's good. And there's this massive drop in the center. So then the big wigs up in corporate made a new plan. Hey, this annual thing's not going so great. Let's break it into quarters. So they have quarterly goal, 90 days. It sounds really good, except unfortunately, we're not that great at sticking to anything for that long. And so even though the time frame is a little bit shorter, most people can't stick to anything for that long. And so over the course of a quarter, again, we start strong, yay. Then we lose our mojo, there's this slump. And then if there's some external pressure, a final push, yay, That's not a great way to run a business. And so over the course of a year, if you do it consistently, every quarter we have a new start, a new slump, and a new push. And it's difficult. Most coaches don't have the focus to be able to stick to any one thing for 90 days. And the other part of that about this is, if you're doing it right, you don't need 90 days to make progress. 90 days is a whole lot of filler. Years ago, I helped a mate of mine, Daniel, teach study skills and memory techniques to students. And they used to sit down after school, study for a big exam, for hours and hours and hours. And what we found is memory recall was really strong at the start. Recall and energy and focus was really good at the end. And there was this dip in the middle. So the hack was really simple. Instead of doing a 5-hour study session, we just broke them into 30-minute chunks. And if you do 30-minute chunks, there's lots more starts and lots more ends. And so the recall stays high. It's exactly the same with this. That's why we don't do annual plans or quarterly plans. We do 6-week cycles. And it looks like this. Over the course of a year, we get 6 6-week cycles. And I'll explain what a cycle looks like in a moment. But this way we get 6 weeks, so we get more starts, more finishes, and the energy stays high the whole time. We don't get the same lull. We just remove the fat. We remove the slump from the middle. So we have start, finish. Here's what I love about 6 weeks. It's long enough to get something done, shipped out there in the real world, but it's short enough that when you start, the clock's already ticking and we can't fuck around. So number one, forget quarters, think shorters. Second big key. These are 6-week cycles, not 6-week sprints. Sprints are exhausting. They're fun once, but you can't do a sprint after a sprint after a sprint. That's how most coaches run their year. It's a year, it's a freaking marathon, but we're trying to run it at sprint pace. No wonder everyone's exhausted. So we want a cycle. And a cycle has 3 core phases. An up, a down, and a thing we do at the valley. So let's map it out. So every 6-week cycle goes through 3 distinct phases. At the start of the cycle, right here, we've decided what we're going to work on, and there's this uphill chunk. This is where we've decided what to do, but we're figuring out how to do it. Anytime you do something new, there's a learning phase. We're testing this, could it be that? What's the best way to implement it? There's a uphill piece on the hill cycle. It's figuring it out. Then, once we've figured it out, then we've got this place where all of the hard thinking work's done, and we're just in doing it mode, in making it happen. So the downhill is make it happen. Oops. And then we've got this interesting spot right here. So I'll tell you the secret. We do six-week cycles each year, and we have a 2-week spot in the middle called cool down. Again, I got this idea from the guys at Basecamp. So there's figuring it out, there's making it happen, and then at the end of the cycle, there's a 2-week period for us to do a couple things. Firstly, on the business front, we're doing the review. Did we do what we said we were going to do? Did it work? Running the experiment debrief. And we're figuring out what's the next cycle going to be about. On the personal front, if we're going to take a holiday, a vacation, some downtime, guess when that happens? In the cool down. That way, we've got 6 weeks of focused work, 2 weeks of cool down, 6 weeks of focused work, 2 weeks of cool down. The whole thing is super sustainable, and that's what we're after because it's a cycle, not a sprint. So if you've been trying to sprint for 90 days at a time or a year at a time, no wonder you're exhausted. Now that we know that it's a cycle, not a sprint, we need to figure out, number one, what do we tackle? And number two, how much can we put on our plate? Here's the big mistake coaches make. They bite off more than they can chew, and then they try to chew like crazy. More coaches die because of indigestion than starvation. And there's a lot of starving coaches, so I know what I'm talking about. The secret to winning isn't to do more things, it's to do less, but better. We're not going to take on too many projects. We've only got 6 weeks to finish them. We don't get an extension, so if it's not done in 6 weeks, the work is wasted. So how do you know what to work on and how much can you bite off at one go? We use a simple tool, a self-score, called the Focus Finder to help us work out what to work on. Here we've got the 4 core areas of our business: attract, our marketing engine; convert, our sales machine; deliver, our fulfillment engine; and then scale, the backstage of the business that makes the whole thing hum. For each one, there's a simple statement. You read it out loud and give yourself a score. Green, I've got this completely nailed and I'm crushing. Yellow, it's okay but could use some help. Or red, this is a real problem for me. I'll give you an example. By the way, if you want to download the scorecard, you can and you should. It's in the description below. So attract, I can easily bring new leads into my world quickly with low-cost advertising. That's either completely true for you, or it's completely false for you, or it's somewhere in between. Give it a tick or a cross or whatever. Tick the box that's most you. I've got a consistent flow of new leads from no-cost strategies. In other words, my organic is killing. Let's say it's not. You go through the scorecard, and by the time you're done, you're going to have ticks and crosses all over the place. Well, guess what? How do we know what to pick? Well, clearly, we want something that's going to make the cash come in. That's your top half. And something that's going to make the business run better. That's your bottom half. So we're going to identify some reds and turn them into yellows or greens in 6 weeks. We can't do everything. We can only do 1 or 2 moves. So let me give you the rule about how to know how much you can take on. It's almost impossible for you to start and finish 9 different projects in 6 weeks. So here's the rule. If it's your very first time, just pick one project, move it forward. You've got one thing you're focused on, the rest is in sort of maintenance mode, and that's okay. The rule of thumb I use is a little bit racist, but it's how we do it. If you're an Australian or an American, you get 2 projects. If you're German or Swiss, or you've got a big team, you can do as many as you can. A lot of our boardroomers, they'll have like 1 core project per function of the business. So the marketing team will get a project, the sales team will get a project, the client success team will have a project, okay? Brits, you get half a project. I'm just kidding, you can do as many as you want. You've done your scorecard and you worked out what's the area that if I just move that one forward this 6 weeks, it would make a tremendous difference for me. You're going to be really tempted and want to do more. I get it. I totally get it. I'm the same, but you can't. You know why? Because you just can't. You've consistently proven that you can't finish all of those things. The good news is you're going to be in business for a long time. The next year, 3, 5, maybe longer. I plan on dying on Zoom, teaching a workshop with my kids. My daughter Jacinta's going to grab me by the legs and drag me off screen. And then she's going to come back and say, my dad's last words were, what was most interesting and what are you going to do about this? And then you're going to hang up the Zoom. You're going to be doing this for a long time. What that does is it should take a bunch of pressure off you that you have to get it all done right now. Okay? If we can make 6 cycles worth of progress happen, in a year, you're in a completely different place. So let's say you've identified that this needs some work. I've got a cult-like following and every day people raise their hand to find out more. You want more of that. Well, how do you do it? Well, our clients go to our roadmap, which has got all of the strategies and the tactics mapped from the Focus Finder to, okay, this is the project for you. But then we get creative. If you're anything like me, you read stuff, you have ideas, you're out for a walk, you're chatting with a friend, you come up with ideas. Every time we have an idea, we write it down on one of these little cards. It's a strategy card. So we've identified the problem. It's good that we know what the problem is, what red we want to turn into a yellow or a green, but what's the actual solution? How do we do it? Well, that's where we bet on the big easy. We're looking for something with a tiny little skadoosh worth of effort that's going to be big impact, easy to implement. I'll show you how it's done. All right, this is where it gets fun. This is the print kit from our event. There's a bunch of tools here that we probably don't need right now, but there's a couple that we do, these two here. So first things first, we've got an idea of what the 2 problem areas to solve are. Each one of those areas on the focus finder corresponds to an item here on the roadmap. And so for our clients, it's really easy. They're like, okay, cool. My paid ads aren't working. I'm going to run this strategy right here, right? Or my sales process is clunky. I'm going to do that process right there. That's good for clients. Obviously, it doesn't help you much if you're not a client, unless you join us. So we know what the core problem we're trying to solve is, right? We've identified that earlier. Now, how do we know which of the options we've got might solve it? We use a really simple hands-on tool. It's called the capture card. Every time we have an idea about a project we might want to run, we just fill in one of these little cards. And you can do this all the way through your cycle, not just when it's planning time. You just have ideas as you have them. So here you just write down the name of the strategy, how much money it might make you or save you, how much work is involved. Is it sand, like a day's worth of work? Is it a pebble, a week? Is it a rock, like a whole month? And is it a boulder, like a whole cycle? And then which part of the business does it work on? Is it a track, convert, deliver, or scale? And the sub options. Here's one I filled in just before, just to give you an example. We had this idea late last year, video sales letter. How much might it make it? And it's best guessed, right? 30K a month, for example. Every time you make money somewhere, it saves you money somewhere else. So where does it save us money? Well, it saves us money in all the lost opportunity from the people who didn't want to book a sales call. And then it obviously saved us some money in sales commissions. This was the big opportunity that I saw. How much work's involved? Like a month. It doesn't take a month to shoot a VSL. But I figured by the time we thought about it, we shot it, we got the funnel set up, it's more than a week, right? And then where does it fit? Well, it's part of the sales process here, selling by chat. We have a bunch of ideas, either yours or ours from the roadmap, and you're gonna have like a bunch of possible options. What we need to do is then go, okay, well, out of all of these great ideas, like I fill these in every single week. I've got like 5 new great ideas, but I'm not allowed to do any right now, but I'm allowed to write them down now, capture them while it's fresh. And then when it comes to cycle planning time, I've got to look at all my cards. Here's the big mistake that coaches make, is they run projects to solve problems that they don't have. What you want to do instead is you want to take that focus finder we did a second ago and go, okay, out of all of my ideas, which ones relate to that? Let's say your problem was a lead generation issue, and that's a lead generation solved, but this is about designing your program, and this is something else. This is a sales process thing. That is about lead generation. All of the topics which relate to the problem you don't have, guess what? They're not even contenders. Worry about them later. So your life just got easier. It's fine to capture them. You can come back to them later if you want to. There's no backlog of things that we have to do in a certain order. Every 6 weeks, we're just going to go, what does my business actually need right now? And we're going to work on that. So let's say we've got, 5 possible options that all look like they'll solve the problem. I'm going to filter them according to Big Easy. It's just a really simple process. We're going to score each potential project by impact, high to low, and ease. Easy to run, or is it hard, or is it somewhere in between? We already know what the problem is to solve, and we've got like 5 options. This one looks like it'll really work, but it's hard work. Probably. Let's just say it was a whole boulder worth of effort. This one here, do I think it'll help? Well, maybe. It was pretty easy, but I don't think it'll fix it. Guess what? It lives down here. We just filter our cards until we land on the 1, or maybe the 2, that are what we call the Big Easy. They solve the problem and they're easy to implement, and that's what we do. So now we've gone from a whole bunch of ideas and a bunch of overwhelm to what's the problem that actually needs solving? Out of all of the ideas I had in my head, which ones might solve it? These 5, but not those ones. Then, which one's going to make the biggest difference and going to be easiest to implement? And the rest, these are the losers. We get rid of them. Sometimes it might make sense to do something that's high impact and hard, but there's a lot of low-hanging fruit up here. We're going to start there first. Let me give you 2 last rules to do this well. When you sort through your cards, you're going to really sort them into 2 piles. That's really what we're doing here. We're sorting them into a now pile. This is the stuff I'm actively working on. And then everything else, it doesn't go into a backlog. It just goes into a not now pile. So as you sort through, let's say we've just had to do the VSL, but we're not going to do, oh, we actually are going to do that. We're not going to do these other ones just yet. What do you do with all these ones? Well, you just leave them. And in 6 weeks, if you want to look at them again, that's cool. I think never ignore the idea that won't leave you alone. So if it comes back again and again and again, it's probably something worth doing at some stage. But just because you have the idea now doesn't make it the best idea ever. That's the first thing. Be really comfortable doing this and saying no to everything else. What do you do in between? Well, we've got a rule. You can have ideas whenever you want. I have ideas almost every day for a new thing we could or should be doing. But if you have the idea and you have to do it right away, well, guess what? You just choked your own growth. You bottlenecked yourself and you choked out your team if you've got one. You can't do everything. So you can have ideas when you want. Fill in a little card. That's why I've got them everywhere ready to collect. Fill in a card, and then in 6 weeks' time, when it's ready to discuss, if it still matters to you, you'll know. And if it doesn't, you'll be going, oh yeah, that was a brain fart. And that's how it's done. Listen, if you want to run your next 6 weeks like this, the whole kit that we just walked through, including the focus finder, it's all in the description below, linked up. Just click it and get yourself ready. And if you've figured out what your problem area is, but you're not sure how to fix it, I shot you a video called the $1 Million Plan, which shows you what we're using right now with our clients to help them get to $1 million a year, 6 weeks at a time. And the link to that video, $1 Million Plan, is in the description as well. I'll see you soon.